everybody, welcome to Studio 64. My name's David. I've been searching the interzones for more science, space and tech news to share with you. And I came across this. It's space news. This should be interesting. Yes, Cygnus Spacecraft suffers glitches after launch. Fascinating. Yes, very interesting. Yeah, here we go. The NG-21 Cygnus deploys from the Falcon 9 upper stage after launch on August the 4th, according to NASA TV. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Yes, Logan, Utah. A Falcon 9 launched a Northrop Grumman Cygnus cargo spacecraft to the International Space Station on August the 4th, but the spacecraft suffered problems that have delayed maneuvers needed to reach the station. Yeah, so the Falcon 9 rocket launched it successfully, so Elon did his job, but the Northrop Grumman Cygnus cargo spacecraft, yeah, not so good. A Falcon 9 lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral, Florida at 11:02 a.m. Eastern. The launch appeared to go as planned, with the Cygnus spacecraft separating from the Falcon's upper stage in low Earth orbit nearly 15 minutes after liftoff. Now, the liftoff delayed day because of poor weather. Elon will get blamed for that as well. Fascinating. Dodged the effects of Tropical Storm Debbie to the west that at one point offered only a 10% chance of acceptable weather for the launch. Now, there were no updates from NASA or Northrop Grumman after the spacecraft's separation for several hours. However, communications between ISS astronauts and mission control indicated that the spacecraft had not performed initial burns to raise its orbit to enable an arrival at the station early August the 6th. Now, in a NASA statement issued nearly 6 hours after liftoff, the agency said that the spacecraft failed to perform maneuver called Targeted Altitude Burn, or TB1 or TBI, 42 minutes after liftoff, due to a late entry to burn sequencing. The burn was rescheduled for 50 minutes later, but also did not take place because of a slightly low initial pressure state in the engine. Leaks, perhaps? Dear oh dear, this is sounding more like Boeing. Yeah. Now, Cygnus is at a safe altitude, and Northrop Grumman engineers are working a new burn and trajectory plan. NASA stated, adding the plan should still allow Cygnus to arrive for a capture by the station's robotic arm at 3:10 a.m. Eastern, US time, of course, August the 6th. NASA added that solar array deployment was completed about 3 hours after liftoff as expected. Yep. I'd say DEI's infected Northrop Grumman too. As I've said in previous videos, I don't care if you identify as a blue-haired bisexual wombat on Thursdays. It doesn't worry me. You know, you want to celebrate your diversity, we'll go down the pub Friday night and have a drink, right? That's great. I'll celebrate it with you. But keep it out of work. Be an aerospace engineer first. You know what I mean? Yep. Doesn't matter if you're whatever you are. Gay, black, straight, white, doesn't really matter. A woman, who cares? You know? Just make sure you do the job first. Then we'll celebrate your bloody diversity afterwards. All right? The Cygnus is carrying 3,857 kilograms of cargo, including 1,505... Try again, David. Dear, oh dear. Yes, I haven't caffeinated enough today. That's what the problem is. Bloody insomnia is catching up with me. Including 1,560 kilograms of vehicle hardware, 1,220 kilograms of science investigations, and 1,021 kilograms of crew supplies. The hardware included critical spares and new hardware items. I wonder if that was for the space station or for the Star Lemon by Boeing, as I call it. Yes, the hardware included critical spares, new hardware items, said Bill Spetch, NASA ISS Operations Integration Manager, at an August 2 briefing, ranging from a spare pump assembly for a urine processing system. So, the space plumbers need some parts. Okay. Yes, to a modification kit that will be used for the installation of the final ISS rollout solar array on the station in 2025. Now, the science payloads include experiments studying how spaceflight affects DNA in microscopic organisms and a study of stem cells that could be used to treat blood diseases. Also on board is what Megan Everett, NASA ISS Deputy Chief Scientist, described at the briefing as a demonstration or education experiment to demonstrate centripetal force using items in balloons. Love the science experiments on the ISS. I think they're absolutely incredible, and I love them. As I say, I'm not a scientist myself. I love all science and how we can combine the efforts of aerospace engineers, astronauts, technical specialists, biologists, you know what I'm trying to say, to do all this stuff is just absolutely fantastic to me, because I'm just an over-enthusiastic nerd about all science. I don't care whether it's geology, astrogeology, you know, you get the point. Material science, chemistry, I love it all. I just think it's great. Cruise supplies include some items for astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, who have been on the station nearly 2 months on the CST-100 Starlemon crew flight test mission. We do like to keep our options open, said Spetch, in a reference to the uncertain return date for the mission. That includes clothes that were taken off the Starliner just before launch to make room for spare parts for the station's urine processor assembly. Well, so the toilet's still broken. You had to get more bits. So they've had to get it up in the Starlemon, and they've also had to get it up in the Cygnus. Oh my goodness gracious. The toilet is broken. That must be difficult. You can't exactly go and pee out the window. On the ISS. Oh my God. I wonder if you could call it the PISS, but the P is silent. Oh, Jesus. You're a juvenile Catholic, David. Fair dinkum. We have some clothes. We have some personal food items for them. Thanks like that, or things like that, I'm assuming that means. Now, what is not on Cygnus, though, are Crew Dragon pressure suits for Williams and Wilmore, amid speculations that NASA is considering have the two astronauts return home on a Crew Dragon rather than Starliner. We would have to deal with that later, he said. Yeah, so the Starlemon can't even, so they're preparing to get Uncle Elon to go up and get him. Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? Or, as I've said, if Uncle Elon can't do it, they're going to have to eat humble pie, and they're going to have to ask Pooty Poots to go and collect him in a Soyuz capsule. That would be funny. Entertaining, extremely funny. Embarrassing for them, but funny for me. Now, the launch was the second of 3 Falcon 9 missions that Northrop Grumman procured for Cygnus launches while it works with Firefly Aerospace on a new version of its Antares rocket, the Antares 330. That version replaces the Ukrainian-built first stage and Russian engines with a stage developed by Firefly and powered by its Miranda engines. I'm not saying a word. I'm leaving that alone completely. So basically, we blow each other up. And on the news, we hate each other, and yet we're busy building rockets, and human beings are such... Seriously. Aliens must think we're a joke. Like, seriously, no wonder they don't come anywhere near us. Oh, dear. What's the running joke with SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, where we, for 60 years, we've been sending out messages into space. And the reason we haven't had any contact from aliens is because human beings are the Jehovah's Witnesses of the universe, and the rest of the galaxy's pretending it's not home.
Fascinating.
Ryan Tintner, Vice President of Civil Space Systems at Northrop Grumman, edged on the call when asked if the new Antares will be ready to handle Cygnus missions after the Falcon 9 launch of the NG-22 mission, currently projected for the spring of 2025. I don't think I can give specific timelines about the readiness of Antares, he said. That is progressing as planned here. We're on track. I hope it's not progressing as well as Boeing. $4.2 billion. Look at what happened with it. The Starlemon. And Uncle Elon's done it how many times now? For $2.6 billion or something? American taxpayers should be peed off with that. Because apparently, because Elon with all these things doesn't do the politically correct thing, doesn't do the DEI. He hires people that can do the job. So whether you're black, brown, white, male, female, gay, straight, he doesn't care. Can you do the job? No problem. Doesn't give a crap about the rest of it. But, you know, identity politics is what's causing so many problems in the world. You know? It doesn't matter what you identify as. That's great. Well, you know, it matters to you, but that's fine. It shouldn't interfere with your professional life, you know? And if you want to, as I said before, you want to identify as something, great. I'm not stopping you. I think it's great. If that's what makes you living your best life, you go for it. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, I have no objection to it. But, you know, come on, you know? You're putting people's lives at risk here. I mean, look at the Star Lemon. You've got two crew members trapped up there because they're too afraid to come home. Fascinating, isn't it? And everyone goes, but David, you big fat bigot. Oh, it's wonderful. It's too important with the identity politics of the DEI is too important. No, what's important? You're worried about hurting people's feelings. I'm worried about 2 astronauts burning up in the atmosphere on the way back. Bloody idiots. Cygnus is a launch vehicle agnostic, he added. We will continue to work with NASA and determine the right launch vehicle after that. So, yeah. So, the Cygnus spacecraft, it doesn't matter what it's attached to. So, this is why, in this case, it worked, because it was Uncle Elon's rocket. Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, I mean, it just... You've got to get over this crap, right? You've got to stop it. The red tape, the identity politics. This is why Elon is being able to take Twitter that everybody said was going to, he's going to crash it and burn it and destroy it. It's now X. It's running with 80% or roughly 80% less staff. And as I've said in the previous video, the reason he was able to do that, and to quote his words, is roughly, you know, paraphrase him, if you're not interested in running an activist organisation and you don't care about censorship, you can run on 20% of the staff. And everyone said, Twitter's going to go, Twitter's going to die. Really? Well, apparently Twitter's dead. Twitter doesn't exist. Watch this. Just type in Elon Musk and do it live. There's Uncle Elon. Let's have a look at this. Tracking footage of Falcon 9's first stage booster landing in sonic boom. Yeah, apparently Twitter's dead. Yes, that's not bad for a not only a dead Twitter platform, but for someone who only took about half from the United States taxpayer to do stuff that Boeing can't do. So Elon's not perfect, nothing is, but he's a hell of a lot better than what the Americans are getting for their taxpayer dollar now. Fascinating, isn't it? Through other organisations. Yeah. All right, well, my name is David. Thanks for joining me for another Studio 64 Science, Space and Tech News update. I shall see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you're up for it, drop a comment down below the video because I'd love to hear what you think. All right, take care. And as I always say, if you can't be good at it. And as I also always say,
I'll be back.